blast, the boom, the earth shook.
And also a flash of light in one North Texas neighborhood.
Our Jeff Paul started asking questions, and then he got an answer about what it might have been.
First, there's a flash and a pop. But about 4 seconds later, there's a boom.
Out of nowhere, just this.
Yeah, this is a new one in from last night. Came in early this morning. So again, we're in Temperance, Michigan here. Notice right there we stop it. Do you see those different pieces of this? A little slower than that. It broke up around 20 miles above the ground, and it did cause that sonic boom, and it kind of triggered the seismic sensors up in Michigan with a 2.0.
Crazy, crazy indeed. Now we know what it was, right? Now we all want to know why.
Says a suspected meteor lit up the sky and sounded like thunder across southern Michigan on Tuesday night. The service confirms the event was not weather-related.
Breaking news coverage continues of this boom and flash that rattled most of you and people in 3 other states as well. Experts were talking with suspect it was some kind of meteor. Many people are shaken up. In fact, when people felt the blast and saw that bright light in the sky, social media lit up with video, questions, and comments. It was just crazy here in the newsroom. People were flooding Facebook and Twitter, and they just wanted answers.
And our consumer investigator Hank Winchester joins us now live from the newsroom. It was the only topic tonight online around Michigan and Detroit, Hank.
Yeah, absolutely, Devin, Kimberly. In fact, I heard you talking about Rod Maloney right before the break. Listen to this. Rod Maloney's Facebook Live viewed now by more than 750,000 people, the most views of any Facebook event here at Channel 4. You know, when this happened, I was at home. My phone blew up like many others. I went to click on Detroit, hopped over to Twitter, did a few searches. Everyone was online trying to get information.
That blast, the boom, the earth shook. You may have felt it. So did people all over, and many went right to Facebook and to Twitter. Video from security cameras, cell phones, dash cams capturing the images. A bright light lighting up the sky over Metro Detroit. On Facebook, we saw thousands of posts from Ann Arbor over to Port Huron, and many from out of state. On Twitter, a quick search of either Detroit, meteor, or explosion, and thousands of tweets popped up. Some, like these from Taylor. Many thought that this fire was related to the bright light in the sky. It was not. It was a standard garage fire. And early on, there were many fake images that made their way onto social media, and of course, some making light of the bright light in the sky.
Of course, with any big event like that, you got to have a little fun on social media. I want to show you some video from our newsroom right after all this started breaking. The phones ringing off the hook. Photojournalist and editor Ben Bell grabbed his camera, captured the scene here in the newsroom. In fact, we are very thankful to our viewers, hundreds of you calling into the newsroom tonight, offering video, perspective, many of you sharing your thoughts on our Facebook page. As you heard, about 750,000 of you watching Rod Maloney. In fact, I understand that we have some nat sound of the phones. Take a listen.
Kim calling 567.
All right, you ready, Rod?
8:45 as we start.
Yeah, a chaotic scene in the newsroom as we were searching for answers. But again, we are so appreciative of our loyal Local 4 viewers who were calling in, sharing information, heading online. As I mentioned again, more than 700,000 of you watching Rod Maloney's coverage and sharing your live thoughts and input there on the Facebook Live page. Of course, keep the video coming. We've seen incredible images that if you have more to share, you can either do it on our Facebook page or also right over there on clickondetroit.com.
Very cool that so many people captured it on film, including a real cool one from Temperance, right?
Yeah, this is a new one in from last night. Came in early this morning. So again, we're in Temperance, Michigan here. Notice right there, we stop it. Do you see those different pieces of this meteor breaking apart? Now that's kind of what perhaps they'll find when it comes to folks looking for actually what's left over on the ground in southeast Michigan. So great slow motion video in Temperance. That was the fireball that came through last night. So by definition, what you just saw, it's not your average everyday meteor. It's actually called a bolide. Okay, B-O-L-I-D-E. The definition of that, a large meteor that explodes in the atmosphere. It's pretty much what it did. As it exploded, those pieces came off that main chunk of rock, perhaps, that came into our atmosphere last night, and it came in quick as well. So what we know, this occurred around 8:08 p.m. yesterday evening. It's about 6 feet wide. Scientists now predict that as this entered our atmosphere, it was a ball or a rock about 6 feet wide in diameter, moving around 28,000 miles per hour, which is actually slow for a meteor. When you see those meteor showers during the summer and the winter, when you see several every few minutes, those are moving at 160,000 miles per hour. So a little slower than that. It broke up around 20 miles above the ground, and it did cause that sonic boom, and it kind of triggered the seismic sensors up in Michigan with a 2.0 earthquake just offshore in Lake St. Clair and also just north of Detroit. So what else we know? It's visible from 7 states in Canada. Lightning detector, we showed that last night during the 11 o'clock news. The brightness of this actually tricked some of our lightning equipment. Also visible on weather radar out of Detroit. And the pieces of the bolide or meteor, they may have impacted the ground, but so far nothing confirmed from southeast Michigan. But the crews, they are looking. Talk more about what's going on with our atmosphere when it comes to weather in just a few minutes. Today was chilly early. You can already feel the change developing as those winds bring in warmer
a social media explosion after people reported hearing and seeing a meteor in the sky. It happened tonight in the Chicago area. This video taken near Bloomfield Hills in Michigan. You may have seen a flash of light just around 8 tonight. The American Meteor Society confirming that the fireball was indeed a meteor and that they have been flooded all evening.
I heard a very loud bang.
Lighting up the sky.
A meteor fireball explodes over Michigan.
The impact spreading hundreds of miles and causing a social media frenzy.
I'll break down the meteor fireball and explain what exactly you saw tonight.
Plus, we're hearing from people who saw it firsthand and captured the moment on video.
Breaking news right now. Thousands saw it, heard it, and even felt it. This map shows the impact reaching well beyond Michigan.
Many captured it on video. You can see all of the images of what's believed to be a meteor fireball over southeast Michigan.
The flash of light and the big boom rattled homes and nerves all over tonight. 7 Action News reporter Andrea Isom begins our Team 7 coverage.
Quite a show out there, Andrea.
Oh, what a night it has been. Our newsroom has been extra busy. We received hundreds of phone calls, hundreds of emails, social media going wild because people want to know what the heck they heard, what the heck they saw tonight. We had a young man come up to us from Dearborn, and he goes, I witnessed something I've never ever seen before, and I tell you what, he was not the only one.
I was a little spooked.
Surveillance and dash cams are going crazy all across southeast Michigan. If you did not see it,
Just a flash of light. It lasted maybe half a millisecond.
and if you did not hear it,
A very loud bang.
then you missed a major event in Michigan.
I was shocked for a second. I said, what could that be?
And you better believe Joseph Gwynn was not the only one bewildered.
I posted on Facebook. People are saying, yeah, I heard it in Allen Park. Another guy said that he heard it on Wyoming and Ford Road. My friend in Lincoln Park said that he thought someone was breaking into his house. My sister said that it shook her house, and someone also told me that a meteor hit.
Bingo! According to the National Weather Service, that is precisely what it was. A meteor in Michigan. Stop the madness. It lit up the sky like the 4th of July. Michael Mastretta called Action News because he was flabbergasted. I mean, completely blown away.
It scared the heck out of me. We actually had a meteor land in Michigan tonight. It's crazy to even think about it.
Crazy indeed. Now we know what it was, right? Now we all want to know why. So I'll send it back to you guys in the studio for that answer.
All right, Andre, we've been working on that, and the one thing we're pretty sure is that we don't know of anything that hit the ground yet, at least, but we're working on that.
You know, I was out at dinner
right.
and we thought we saw a lightning strike in the sky,
Yep.
so we kind of saw it out there, right?
All right, let's get right now to 7 First Alert meteorologist Kevin Jeans in the Weather Center to explain what it was that we saw up there.
Well, a lot of people thought that must have been lightning, that must have been thunder. That's kind of your first initial reaction. Was that thunder snow? Well, no, it wasn't thunder, and it was the bright light you saw. Essentially, it was this meteoroid kind of burning up in the Earth's atmosphere. Basically, it's at a high rate of speed, and as it goes through the Earth's atmosphere, there's friction. It creates heat, and that's why it starts to kind of glow. You see the bright light, and it kind of flickers, too. It doesn't just get bright and then go down completely. It kind of flickers a little bit. So, of course, this is not to scale, but this is roughly what we're looking at. The sound waves, now, this is the sound you hear. Basically, you have sound waves out ahead of this, and as it's moving faster than the speed of sound, the compression of sound waves is what creates a sonic boom. So that's what you heard. It's traveling at a faster rate than the speed of sound. That's why we heard the sonic boom. But you saw several reports from multiple states. Basically, it's a bright flash. You hear the sonic boom, and odds are it could have just burnt up, broken up completely. But one thing for sure, you heard the sonic boom, and that's what we saw.
Like this again, a porch, nice view. Look at the upper right of your screen, and there's that fireball. So not a consistent light, but as it kind of peters out, watch it again, kind of flashes, right? That's the last of that bit of rock or whatever came into our atmosphere tonight, burning up quickly. And reports, especially from southeast Michigan, of not just the light from this thing, but also a big boom. And these things can make a big sound as they re-enter the atmosphere, Diane. And the reason, heat and speed, if you can imagine that.
Yeah, we started getting these calls, and we called around to sheriff's departments here in Northwest Ohio. People were saying, yeah, we saw the light, we saw the light, we saw the light, but it wasn't until we called Monroe County and heard about 50 reports within a 20-minute period of people saying they heard the boom. So why the difference?
Correct. Closer to it. Looks like this actually came into our atmosphere somewhere in southeast Michigan, checking some satellite data, lightning tracker data, to see where it came in. I'll have that for you in a bit. But basically, if you think of a lightning bolt, makes all that heat, creates the boom we hear as thunder. This thing creates the heat, and it's also moving faster than the speed of sound, creates a sonic boom, and that's why you hear a boom too. Reports of the sound coming a minute or two after the flash of light. Light much faster than sound, so that makes sense too. But just an amazing thing. If you didn't see it, maybe you heard it, maybe you saw it and didn't hear it, or if you missed out.
Michael Norlock, the head of astronomy at the Cranbrook Institute of Science. Good morning to you. I know you've been busy today.
A little bit, yeah.
Michael, first of all, what is a meteor? How rare is this? Where did it come from?
Well, a meteor is essentially a chunk of rock. It can be metallic, it can be more like a stone. This came from our solar system, more likely than not. It is a little bit different than, say, the meteors you would see in a meteor shower. Maybe you've heard of the Perseid meteor shower, for instance. Those are roughly the size of a grain of sand. This one was probably the size of a cargo van.
Oh. What about the rattling that came with it? A lot of people said their house was shaking. They knew something was going on outside. How does that happen?
That was probably a sonic boom, or it could have been a sonic boom, much like an aircraft passing by. When it breaks the sound barrier, you get that boom, and that could have rattled houses. Or it could have been the sound of the breakup, the explosion that people have been reporting.
Is this something that just happens randomly? Usually, you
sometimes we get a little warning.
Yeah, there's some notice. I'm upset that I missed it.
Events like this do just sort of happen. I mean, for a regular meteor shower, those happen with regularity. We know when those are coming. We can predict when those are coming. This was an object that virtually came out of nowhere. We don't really have a federally funded or a government-sponsored agency that tracks debris in our solar system. It's really left to a lot of amateur astronomers, and there are case upon case of large objects whizzing by the Earth, and we know it because we see it go by. We had no idea it was coming. So this is probably something like that, a relatively large object that hit our atmosphere, streaked across the sky, blew up, did no real damage, but certainly gave a lot of people a bit of a startle.
What was the path, Michael?
I'm not 100% certain on what the path was. It seems like it was moving west to east, and I'm just piecing that together because I got random emails from folks in Illinois saying that they saw it, and then I know folks in Michigan saw it, and Ohio saw it. So I think, but I've also heard that it could have been moving more north to south, so I'm not 100% certain what the trajectory was.
But it exploded over Michigan, because Michigan, nationally, Michigan is being pinpointed as the place where the meteor happened, right? So it ended here, right?
Yeah. It did. All indications are that it came apart over southeastern Michigan. Certainly the epicenter of the earthquake was in and around the sort of Mount Clemens area. So obviously an event happened there. Whether it was an impact or whether that's where the seismometers picked up the sonic boom, we're not sure. But certainly the place to start looking for a debris field, if there is one, would be in that area.
Okay, in the Mount Clemens area. And what debris would we find?
You would find probably little meteorites. We're guessing it's a stony meteorite, so they wouldn't be all that magnetic. You might see a dark crust on the particular debris that you find. Probably not very large, you know, less than the size of your fist, I would guess. But all meteors, they disintegrate in a little bit different ways. So if you find something in that area and you're not sure, you can bring it by the Institute and we'll take a look at it and tell you what we think.
Michael, real quickly, can you talk to us about how our atmosphere breaks up and burns up the meteor as it comes down? How does that happen? What's the scientific behind that?
Sure, it's all about friction. The meteor is coming in at a pretty good clip, and it hits our atmosphere, which is like putting the brakes on. And as the meteor is pushing through the atmosphere, it creates a lot of friction and therefore a lot of heat. And you add speed plus heat plus an object that hasn't experienced either one of those in a very long time, and you get conditions that are ripe for an explosion.
And Michael, just final question. So people say that they saw it and then heard it, right?
Yeah, hundreds of people say they heard it. Mysterious boom and also a flash of light in one North Texas neighborhood.
Our Jeff Paul started asking questions, and then he got an answer about what it might have been.
First, there's a flash and a pop. But about 4 seconds later, there's a boom.
Out of nowhere, just this pow.
Philip Washington was one of many in North Oak Cliff who heard and felt the explosive noise.
It was, without a doubt, the loudest sound I have heard
Some suspected fireworks or gunfire, while a few others thought the noise was a bad car wreck.
It was immediately apparent that something had fallen from the sky.
University of North Texas astronomer Ron DiIulio says the noise is a sonic boom caused by either a meteorite or some sort of space debris.
As it's coming in, it explodes, but as it's exploding, it's also passing the speed of sound.
DiIulio says hundreds of tons of meteorites fall every day. Most burn up quickly or are rarely caught on camera.
And you can hear the sound of the reverberation. The whole neighborhood shook from that.
From what he saw captured in the video, DiIulio estimates whatever entered the Earth's atmosphere is about the size of this grapefruit.
They just consider themselves lucky that they got an experience in life that a lot of people don't. A true shooting star.
And having never experienced a fall himself, DiIulio is pretty jealous and hopes folks like Washington made a wish.
I know. Why didn't I do that? I should have wished for something, man.
In North Oak Cliff, I'm Jeff Paul, CBS 11 News.
Could you imagine if it happened at 11:11?
Oh, now that would be crazy.
Triple wish.
Yeah, and then you should play the lotto.